Again, Sid, because you weren't here for Jonathan and I were talking. I'm getting over being sick, and so I might
Ah,
just kind of, and I got some spray here and I got some drink here to just kind of, if my lungs start going, I might bow out for a second, or I might go, and then, anyhow,
yeah.
y'all get it, y'all get the point, that kind of a thing. So,
Absolutely.
anyhow,
Yep.
go ahead. You were going to say
Oh,
something?
I was just going to mention I've gotten real good at pressing the mute button because I had a
Yeah.
persistent cough for like 8 weeks. And of course, during COVID, if you coughed, you were anathema. Everybody's like, get away from me. Like, did I ever cough before there was COVID? Come on, give me a break.
Yeah, right.
It's
I
okay.
like to sneeze in places. If I feel like, I'd like to clear this out. Achoo! Oh, man, I'm sorry. Oh, I better not.
If the restaurant's too full, you just walk through the lobby and just start hacking up a
Hacking
line.
away.
People just like,
Yeah.
we'll
Just
go
going
see if we
crazy.
go to Chili's.
I had a buddy that used to work in the produce section of a grocery store, and he had the best little prank. They have the mister hoses that you can pick up and they spray, but you never see them because you don't work at a grocery store. But this guy did, and he'd be walking with a friend, and he would just reach over and grab it without them seeing it, and he'd go, "Achoo," and it'd spray them. And it was so classically good. It's like a good-hearted, harmless prank that has a big
Well, so first of all, hey there, hi there, ho there out there in spray wash land. And Ray will be joining us here in just a few minutes. He's coming in hot as always. It seems like sometimes now he's doing some backdoor stuff for us. I think everybody knows who's here, but we've got the Big J CEO, right? Jonathan Maynard.
I didn't change that. Sorry, I was on it.
And then we got Mr. Sid Graef. So I think everybody pretty much knows who you guys are at this given point in time that follow us along. But you guys want to get the spiel. And then I'm going to tell you, though, when we very first get started, I'm going to tell you what's wrong with the Huge and why I'm upset with you guys. I hid this from you guys, but I'm going to tell you guys we got a big problem and we're going to talk about it. Anyhow,
Awesome.
tell us about you.
Okay. The hook is set.
The hook is set.
Okay, I don't know about anybody watching or you and Doug and John, but I love that I'm looking at Jonathan's name. It says the Big J CEO, the hug.
The hug.
The
I'm
hug.
a hugger. I am a hugger.
But you're the Huge.
Yeah. Awesome.
Very good.
Well, yeah. So those that don't know me, I have been in the industry for several years. I have a soft wash company, have a landscape lighting, low voltage lighting Christmas light company, and then latest venture, solid floor. It's a epoxy garage floor coating company, and several other just random ventures. But been around for a while and just love to be here. And it's Bobby Walker.
Then Mr. Bobby is there saying, why are you always defending the Huge? Because there's so many problems with the Huge, right? I told you guys, I mean, just a second ago, I'm going to hit you with your first problem. Awesome. And we're going to see how you handle this problem. Okay. This is bad. And I want to, and I'm pulling you guys out on the carpet, and I apologize for that, but you guys are ready for it. You're adults. So my big issue with the Huge Convention 2023, and you guys don't know that I have this issue yet, that 2022 was in such a good place, in such a good time, and all that I have to now bring my wife, and it's becoming a more family thing, right? Yeah. And now it's going to cost me more money than it did this year. So that is a problem for me, guys. I mean, this is becoming a family event. And wait, isn't that what the goal is?
That is the goal. And it is a business expense. So your room and all that kind of stuff can be a write-off. Consult your CPA. I am not one. I do not give financial advice, but that's what we want. And we put it in a place that is so cool for everybody to go and bring their family, bring their kids, go to the water park, enjoy Nashville. That's why we brought Nashville, the Broadway experience. Sid got his brother up there, who is a world-class musician. So him, his buddies, They came and just rocked our socks off. We want to make it a family event. We want to make it a place where people come and bring their stuff. So that's, it is a problem, but I think it's a good problem to have.
I think it's a very good problem. I mean, so, and just to, again, be a little bit clear on that. So my wife is into jujitsu, and she is, there's another washer that is local to the area. And so neither one of our wives came this year. And because he kept sending back pictures and all this kind of stuff, and now they're like, no, we're definitely going. We're bringing family. And because we were showing them too, that it has become a family thing. And look, so for those of y'all that are here tonight, I mean, we're going to be talking about the huge 2023, but we can't do that without talking about 2022 and what happened in 2022, and where 2023 is going, where the huge convention is going, all those sorts of things. And for me, that is the direction, and I clearly see it. And having family there and having that extra time, going there ahead of time, making sure that you either going before the convention or going after the convention, or booking additional time before or after the convention. And I assume that that's also something that y'all worked out and will be worked out for 2023, where the room block is not just for the days of the convention. It's how many days before and how many days after typically.
We have it from Monday all the way to Sunday, and it's already booked out. And I don't quote me, but I think the room rate it's within $5 or $10 a night of what we had this year. So this year is $205 or $209, which is crazy. And if you're like me, you go, my gosh, $200 a night for a room. But it's Nashville; it's expensive there, and this hotel is bonkers. And their normal room rate is like $375. Yeah. It's expensive to stay there, but it's a world-class hotel. And if you're like me, I've never stayed in a hotel that fancy. So it's nice to go to something like that and say, hey, this is super fun. And it's, a rate that you normally can't get.
I've got to also say, I'm convinced that half the staff working in that hotel is just guests that could not find the exit door.
That's the rumor.
They slap a uniform on them and say, "Your hours now.
You're here now." It's a Hotel California,
no matter what. And I was going to say, and half of them can't speak English to ask anyhow. But so I won't.
And I see Dave Yesden just made a comment. And last week we were talking, as well about this, but we wanted the horses' mouths on here, so to speak. And then up in the top corner we have the horse's rear end.
Who's in the corner?
Okay.
Everything is reversed, so we can't get it right.
And then we got the horse's rear end as well there. No, a bunch of people were talking about the campground, and Pat said he was going to bring the bus, and I think Dave Yesden said he was going to bring his camper, and Doug, you were saying you'd go over. So, boy, I mean, what an amazing time there.
I think there's going to be a night spent at the campground. I really do. I think, if they Dave gets it going, and Pat will be, brings his thing. I think there was just so many people there. I think it'll be bigger for 2023, where they'll more take over a campground. It's something I didn't think about this till just now, but is that something that the Huge can actually contact a campground, maybe see how many people would do that and do something along that nature, maybe work out a rate for people that don't necessarily want to go to the hotel or maybe can't afford the hotels.
That's probably worth looking at. And you talk about the hotel rates. I had a buddy contact me like 3 weeks before the Huge, and he's like, Sid, I really want to go, but I can't afford $425 a night. And I went, for what? He said, at the Opryland. I said, are you using our block rate? And he went, no, I just called the hotel directly. And I'm like, don't do that. It was like, it's less than half if we work at a really good deal, but that's probably worth exploring with the campground. Especially, I was excited that Pat brought the bus, and mildly disappointed because the parking lot is about the size of the town I live in around the hotel, and so I never got to see the bus.
Yeah.
Speaking of the camping, I mean, what a great opportunity. And I mean, what you're paying at the Huge rate, the negotiated rate that y'all have isn't at all what the room rate is itself. So much lower. And there are some even better economy level, hotels even around there. not just the Opryland Hotel, that are within walking distance. We have the one that's across the parking lot. Sure, you don't have 18 waterfalls and 4 massive atrium lobbies, but it's still a nice clean room.
If you're there and you're on a budget, I completely understand. I go back to the Pat Clark story of him just buying the ticket to an event and then sleeping in his van.
Yeah.
If that's what it takes to get there, yeah, it's great. But if you're doing okay in your business and you can do 205 a night or whatever, and really just kind of treat your family, that's great too. It's kind of just whatever you need to do to make it work for you. The nice thing about being in the hotel is you're close to everything. You're not paying for parking, yada, yada, yada. So
if you're in that hotel, you are not close to anything.
And I'll tell you what else. You talk about not affording it, but I guess a lot of it has to do with how bad you want it. One of my favorite people I have ever met was from Anchorage, Alaska, and he's already limited to a 6-month cleaning season up there.
Yeah.
And he was getting into the industry, and there were a few events he could not afford. He put a camper shell on his truck. And I literally met this guy at Mike Howard's event in Savannah, Georgia. And he had been, camping for a week for that event to come. And he had hit like 4 events across the nation, drove all the way from Anchorage, Alaska, and was camping out going to these events. So
amazing.
Depends on how much you want it, what you're willing to sacrifice.
So, hey, real quick, I see Brandon Vaughn's here. Hey, Brandon. And if y'all want to see Brandon Vaughn here in the near future, he is actually going to be at the Cleaning Industry Summit, which I think is sold out. I'm not positive. But I think the Cleaning Industry Summit, which is September 15th through the 20th, and that is in Cabo, Mexico. So enjoy a great time there. Have fun for those of you that are going. And if you haven't gotten I think it's already sold out, and I think it might be a little bit too late, but Cabo would be a great thing, and I think Brandon's going to be there. And then also they got the PWNA show coming up in Orlando on October 12th through the 15th. So if you didn't make it to the Huge, you got 2 more opportunities, really good opportunities to do it. Now, the Cleaning Industry Summit is it's more just geared for, like, I think what did he say, Ray? 200 people?
Yeah.
250, 300 people, somewhere in that neighborhood. PWNA is going to be, I don't know how many they're going to have there. It's not as big as the Huge, but if you didn't make it there, you've got another 2 opportunities, good opportunities, and then the kick for next year. So. Who was the best speaker that you had? Who did you have the most compliments over throughout the whole thing?
And we know, and I want to hedge this too. A lot of people don't realize, and I have a little backstory because I was friends with the previous, owners of the Huge, and I know there's a lot of stuff put in place, and then y'all taken what was built and just built. A mushroom cloud. Y'all Grant Cardone 10 times the experience of the Huge here. And I know y'all check. This isn't just conjecture. Y'all go and check on the speakers. Y'all poll the audiences. You give ample opportunity for people to give feedback. So this isn't conjecture. This isn't, hey, who do you think was good? But can you give us feedback on who you think knocked it out of the park there?
Oh gosh, hands down, the most comments we got is Hamish Brewer.
Oh yeah,
he did our opening keynote and just knocked it out of the park. The energy that he brought is unlike anything that we typically see, especially for our industry. This is something that you're going to normally see at like a ClickFunnels event or something like that. And he speaks on a national opinion, on a national stage, and he just really knocked it out of the park. Sorry, I read the first thing of Ryan Crowley's message here, but he, hands on him, Kenny Thomas, the guy that was in the Black Hawk Down mission, was really good. Different energy level, but his stories and his leadership experience was phenomenal. And then the last one that we've heard a lot of comments was Michael Burnoff from Human Communications Institute. He will mess your mind up with just words, and it's just really cool stuff.
So
Excellent.
the next step on that, talking about the breakout sessions, we had 42, I think. We had at least 40 breakout sessions. So that's a lot of ground to cover. That's too much to choose from for an individual, but it covers the gamut. So you could definitely, anybody could find something that they're going to learn from and they're going to benefit from. I had 3 of my young men that work for me that came to the convention, and I had them pick a class you want to be in, but I also had them helping in the room to make sure the doors closed on time, they start on time, that stuff. And these are young guys, 21, never run a business. They're just learning the ropes. And they started blowing me up with text messages right away. They're like, the one guy, Cole, he's like, this lady's so smart. I can't believe it. Are we doing this in our business? And I was like, who is it? He said, I don't know. I said, describe. Describe. He said, she looks like a Girl Scout. And I said, that's Megan Likes.
Megan.
Gotta be one of the Fight Club gals.
Yeah. And it's like, this is blowing my mind. You have to send Shanti to study with these people. I'm like, Shanti's our office manager. And then one of my other guys, it really surprised me. He just wants to clean windows and manage a little bit. He doesn't want to sell. He don't want anything. And he happened to be in the room, and same thing. He's like, this guy's the freaking smartest guy I've ever heard. I was like, who is it? Don't know. So describe. Brown hair, this tall. And I said, does he have a partner with a South African accent? He said, yeah. I said, Bradley Williams, Dirk, Wesley Marie. He's like, these guys, explicative.
Yeah, I love Bradley. Bradley's a good guy.
Yeah. But I heard so much good feedback from the crowd. I heard back several people from who's our gal that's the cleaning, the maid, Debbie Sardone.
Is that the pink collars? No,
Debbie Sardone from Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
But they're really, I mean, there was so much going on for me personally that I didn't get to go to any of the breakouts. I got to stop in and check on this and that, but not get to hear about it. But we've been hearing a buzz about speakers. The only thing I haven't heard is somebody saying, oh, so-and-so really sucked. Make sure you never bring them back. Yeah.
You heard that about the spray wash guys, didn't you? The spray wash academy.
You recognized your name when I said so-and-so.
Yeah.
That's why they broke my monitor before I got there.
We get that a lot.
We're gonna keep these guys out, period, one way or another. Yeah.
We get that a lot with our customers.
Yeah.
Let me pop in on this. That you put up a comment a minute ago, and guys, is the place too huge?
Oh, about Ryan, too.
Yeah, and that's a really fair comment, because one of the great things about Atlanta is there's one big bar right in the middle of it. You get off the elevators, it's there. You go in someplace, it's there. And that's really great for the networking and for the family feel. And that was hard in the Opryland, because there's 17 bars in the hotel, but where are they? So they're dispersed. So Big J is taking care of, next year there will be a central networking hub that's close to the the ballroom and the breakout rooms, and we'll have smaller focused networking areas where if you're into this, go here. If you're into this, go here.
That'd be kind of interesting. So the window cleaners are going to go meet at Paul or Vibes, and fun people, or
not so fun
window cleaning people are going to go meet at the Jack Daniels place. Yeah. If you have a carpet cleaning business, you have to go to Cascades or the Falls, and
Can they set up a bar? Like they do, out in that main area. And
we had one
where you have to have a huge lanyard and all that. And it's still a paid for bar. It doesn't have to be an open bar, right? But then that way everybody can meet in that one central location, and have bars just set up right there in that main area.
Yes. So that's one of the things we're doing. Yeah, we're doing that next year. We had the welcome reception this year, Wednesday night, but really I want to do that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday night for people just to be able to meet. And then also we do have the app that wasn't utilized as much this year, but next year, as people kind of get more used to it, there will be networking events that are in there. Like Sid said, we're going to call them the neighborhoods, and whatever hood you want to go to, you can go to the hood.
Just because she's popping it up here real quick, and Tanya's saying no seating, and that she's probably talking about that. So if they did have that as a big open bar,
we would have high top, low top.
Well, and I know what Tanya's talking about, and it was actually the one thing, because I had several meetings. In fact, Bradley and I and his wife, we went out and talked, and a couple of different times where I needed to like go and sit down with people. And that's the one interesting thing about this, as opposed to say Atlanta, no matter where you turn, and I don't mean this is any negative towards you guys, because it was an amazing event. But Atlanta, if you went 5 foot, there was a settee or a love seat or a couple of chairs to sit. This one did not necessarily have that as much. You were kind of looking around for a place to kind of duck in and sit for a minute.
Yeah. In 2023, we're actually going to be in the Tennessee section, and there is a really cool area. It's a 2-story area. There's a lot of like open seating like that, and we're going to be doing those neighborhoods. So you do turn around there. There's literally couches and things like that.
Very cool.
Down. So
I'm thinking if we can get a good group rate and rent like 200 or 300 of those little scooters that you sit
on.
I
like that. Then we can just pull them up, like kind of like we do on the sandbar, on the weekends. So you wouldn't know that from Montana, but people that boat, we pull up on sandbars next in our boats, So we'll just pull up with our scooters next to each other and make our own seats. You
got your own group, right?
I love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love it.
So signage was something that I also heard a lot about, where there just wasn't good signage. And so I assume that's going to be addressed. And if you're going to do kind of like community at the bar, so you got window lickers over here, and you've got, guys that think they soft wash with a pressure washer over here. That's just picking on somebody who's going to get mad. And I like that. Yeah, never mind. So, those kinds of things. Maybe banners even for those particular areas to help define those. So when you're sitting there and you're looking around, there's so many people, just some way to find, and maybe,
Yep, we're going to be doing more than meter signs. Believe it or not, we spent a little over $10,000 in signage this year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like for one event, and then they throw it away, which is hilarious.
Well, keep it at the same place. Golly, if y'all could wind up keeping the signs, really, I was telling Tanya, I was like, maybe they could actually keep this stuff and start recycling it for the next year, and build up their signage repertoire there. I mean, I know then you got to store the crap and all that.
Yeah, there's logistical issues, and like I was telling somebody earlier, we this is our second full year putting on the event, and we're learning, and there's more that we're doing, and we're
I mean, I got to be honest here. Even with any of the criticism that I give, I feel a little bit like I'm telling Jesus that heaven is too hot, could you adjust the temperature here? Because anything that I'm sitting here saying is just like a personal observation, but I don't mean it in any way, shape, or form to diminish what you guys did and how absolutely amazing this event was. So
yeah, I appreciate it. But no, we really take that kind of stuff seriously, and looking at and after we got there and the signage was up, I looked around, I was like, oh, we need more signage.
Yeah,
need more signage.
I'm going to take it one further, and I'm going to say, I didn't think about it until you said this, and that is, this is really just your second full year of doing this event, right? So if you look at it, I mean, how amazing was it to begin with, and to only be the second year that you've been leading that charge? I mean, if that right there doesn't tell somebody, man, I can't wait for year 4, right? I'm going to be there for year 3, but I can't wait for year 4, because everything that I see and I hear, and guys that follow us know that we can be critical. I mean, we speak the truth, and we just don't
appreciate it.
We don't, I guess we just don't blow smoke, right? It is what it is. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. And we're just going to say it. And for me, I look at that and I say, man, everything I've heard, and sometimes we're in the background, we hear things differently than maybe the general public can hear. And everything we hear is always the same. And it's always pointed in one direction, which is a great direction. And it's never been a, when you hear about an issue or a problem, it's not like, well, that's such a minor thing. That's such a petty thing. That's just somebody complaining. No, you guys actually take it to heart. You listen to it and you say, well, I mean, it might be a small piece, but can we do something to fix it? And I appreciate that. And I think that's why the huge will be huger, huge-ish, Hamish, never mind.
The
Hamish,
banana.
I actually
good as his speech.
I just saw a fantastic comment. And I don't know if it's appearing here because we actually, I think it finally did, because we broadcast in so many places and we never really know how many people are watching it. But, somebody said, hey, sponsor raffle the signage or sponsorship the signage on there,
Yeah.
Kind of. I know we used to do that with another organization that I was a member of who won't be mentioned. And you had signed sponsors on there, and
may they rest in peace.
Back to the depths of hell, I tell you.
Yep.
Ryan said, "Thank you for addressing that on there." So, yep.
So, you had said earlier about. First of all, before I go that direction, what can you tell us something that we can expect, or somebody that we might see, or something that might be happening for 2023?
Can I
Maybe
answer
it
part
hasn't
of
been
that?
out yet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know how this is not specific, but I did want to address this because we, Thad and Chris started an awesome event. And so we're standing on the shoulders of giants. Like it would be far different if we had to start it from scratch, but they, whatever the goal was, they helped to, we've got a very fractured industry with window cleaning and power washing, and they're all over the place. And a lot of times you go to an event like that, or, even in the past, the huge, where people are just kind of bragging about how big their machine is, how big their wand is, how long their pole is, or whatever you brag about when you're around.
Some innuendos in here, Sid.
I know. It's like, let me reach over and get a box of donuts. But they helped bring education to an industry about being a business owner, how to run a business, because most of the people start their own. You're already a damn good technician. You may not know everything, but like you know how to get stuff done and figure it out, and you're good at the thing, but maybe not great at running a business. And so they started bringing in the education. And so we focused on that. Like, let's elevate an industry where it's not, a whole bunch of people arguing about shit all the time, but rather coming together to lift one another up. So we're doing that. And you alluded to it, Doug, where, it is becoming more of a family friendly show. Because most of the people that are in the industry, they're married. They have little kids. Let's address.
And for us, it's about our families. I mean, most of us are doing in this industry and in this business for our families.
Exactly. So let's have them be a part of it, because that's the deal. So
I know that if I'm sorry to interrupt, but I know that 10 years ago it was great. It was great to put my roughneck on and you go out there to the shows, and boy, the first night you're pounding it back with your buddies that you haven't seen in 2, 3, 4 months, and you have a hangover that lasts the rest of the show. And as I've gotten older and hopefully wiser and better haired, okay, that was a joke. But you finally have learned. It's like, boy, the first night of that show, I'm hiding. I'm literally hiding from my friends at this point, so we don't go out and do this blow it out type scenario there. But it really is. I mean, you have to understand, there are people that aren't going to view this as a party. There are people that are very, very serious about their craft, that have paid large amounts of money to come here, and it's not about the party to them. It's about the education to them.
Sure.
Well, let me key in on something too. We're talking about, this is the direction of the huge, is to learn more about the business side of it. Okay. Don't let that scare you off if you're coming to learn about the washing side of it, because although a lot of stuff nowadays, it is geared towards growing your business and maybe not necessarily about the washing aspects of it. When you go to the huge, you are amongst some of the best washers in the world. And bring your family, and whether you want to go to the bar or not go to the bar for the drinking aspects of it or whatnot, still go there and still listen and still talk to and still approach and still, I sound like a broken record on that, but that's where you learn about those things, where you can ask those questions about washing. And then you take that down to that showroom floor where they have all the equipment and everything, and they can show you what it is and how it is and why it is and all those sorts of things. And then one final note on that, Ray talked about hair, and I just want to make sure everybody knows I'm the one on this show with the most hair.
It's like the thing of the Sesame Street. You're like, one of these heads is not like the other.
Yeah.
One of them just doesn't belong.
And I don't know what
Oh,
happened to
thank you,
Doug's
Ray.
food there. But wow, Doug's having technical problems.
Yeah. You know,
Nice wig.
so the one thing I like about Ray is that Ray can't do anything about me now shutting him off of there.
The kid's gone.
Now, Sid, I didn't do anything to Sid. I promise.
Oh wow! Now, that's horrible. You've killed Sid. Great.
Well, it is Montana, and they do have like squirrels running the internet.
Oh yeah, it's 6:30 in Montana. They shut the internet down.
Well, hopefully he'll come back. Hey,
Hey guys,
That's terrific.
now I get it.
Amazing.
we're not worthy.
Yeah.
Now,
We're
and
not
something
worthy.
that I wanted to actually in a changing veins a little bit, and where I think that, you know, and I've been to approximately 487 trade shows and events over the past 14 years. Man, that trade show was something of beauty. I always thought that the CETA, and I don't mean to cast any shade on them, but the Power Clean, the PWNA CETA trade show was by far, to me, the best one I had ever been to. But I'll tell you what, this trade show there this year was absolutely amazing. And I mean, one, the quality and selection of the vendors. Two, the room that it was in was really nice because, Atlanta, if you remember last year in Atlanta, you had kind of the lower ceilings and it felt closed. I almost felt a little bit.
Get the word dungeon.
Yeah, dungeon comes to mind. This was just the perfect trade show floor. It was really amazing. And my hats are off. I mean, even if you didn't attend a single class, I think if you bought a ticket and went to that trade show, you more than got your money's worth there.
Yeah, it's terrific. Thank you. We worked really hard on that, getting the right people. And yes, if there's something for 2023, our trade show is going to be 30% bigger next year.
Wow.
Whoa. That's going to be huge.
Yep.
I mean, with as big as it was, and you're going to make it 30% bigger, that's big.
Yeah, it was 30% bigger this year, and it'll be another 30% bigger next year. It's going to be in the same kind of space, but we were in 5 and 6 this year. It's going to be 1, 2, and 3 next year.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Very good. So somebody had made the comment about they had a hard time finding the app in the App Store. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, it's called Attendee Mobile. So next year with the signage at check-in, we're going to have a QR code on a giant sign for you to scan. And then you download the app, you type in the Huge Convention. I may even spring for a dedicated Huge Convention app if I can get a sponsor. Spray Wash Pro will be sponsoring the app. No, but seriously, if we can get a dedicated app, that's great. Otherwise, we can use Attendee Mobile. It's basically the same app. It's super powerful. You get all the schedules. The other cool thing you can do is you can network with people. Think of it like almost like Facebook for an app, where if you see like Doug, you can look up Doug's name and you can send him a message. And if Doug accepts your friend request, now you can converse with them and go, hey, this is what we're doing. Or, hey, I've always wanted to meet you. Can we chat on this?
That would be nice. Cool.
Yeah, I had several people ask me, they're like, is there a directory or something so I can get to I'm meeting these people, but I don't know how to get in touch with them, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, so that's really good. Let me address Jacob Dell on here. This is a great comment. And by the way, Jacob, I already love you because your previous comment, but you know what the hardest thing about becoming a vegan is? It's keeping it to yourself. Okay.
So vegan non-drinkers? No.
That's like how do you know, or what does a vegan and a jet fighter pilot have in common? They'll let you know.
Yeah.
There's a CrossFit joke in there too somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the big, and that's why we have it at a place this big, is so that there are options for people that just want to go have milkshakes. I'm looking at you, Kurt Kempton. if they want to just have a milkshake bar, they can go and they can do that, and then they feel like, okay, it's good, it's great, we can go, attend that. The other cool thing for 2023 is we are really hugifying our VIP experience, which is going to be super cool. Everybody saw kind of the front row tables that you get, which is kind of nice because you're up front at the general sessions, but you got a place to put your stuff. But besides that, the VIP reception, there's actually going to be a special room for the speakers and VIP people to get drinks all day. So free coffee, free, Pepsis. I think it's a Pepsi only place. Sorry. And things like that. So they can get, their drinks and be really treated to a really cool, super VIP experience.
Well, COVID kind of ruined their taste of Coke anyhow. So I guess,
Matthew is making a really important point here, and they don't drink. They still found it very family friendly. And that is important for us to realize. And we sit here and joke and kid around about people drinking. And yes, there is a lot of socializing, but understand there's plenty of people out here that don't drink, that aren't there for the party necessarily, or for whatever, personal choices, are not imbibing alcohol. And please don't understand and don't think anything that we're saying is, oh, this is a big drunken throwdown party. I mean, Tanya and I never left the property. We didn't go downtown. There's somebody commenting here that I know he laughed and he's like, yeah, I don't think I'm other than the plant and property class. I don't think I made it to another class. But they enjoyed it. I mean, he was with a bunch of other guys that are in their 20s, and they went down and played and enjoyed Nashville, and then got the trade show experience in there. So it's all fun, for whatever you want to do as a person.
Yeah. And we also have a video package. So if you just went to the trade show and you picked up 2 or 3 classes that you did want to go to, that's why we spend the money on the videographers to go in there and capture all of those classes. And you can get it if you go to thehugeconvention.com, there's a video package on there. I think it's like $129. You get instant access to last year's videos. And then when we get the ones back from the editor, they go on there just in case you can't go to everything. And I remember
no way to make everyone anyhow.
You can't make everyone. And by the time you've done your 3rd class, your brain is applesauce. And you're like, okay, so you can actually now just step through the videos, go through the teaching and see, okay, this is exactly, and we're taking people's PowerPoints. I know, Doug, you had an issue with your PowerPoint, and actually next year, that's one of the things after our conversation, I was like, okay, we're just going to put laptops in every room. And then you just bring, you
just bring it on a stick. And
you bring a stick loaded there, boom, or it's preloaded for you. Because you should have your package and it's like, boom, there you go. And like I said, it's well worth the money. It's $129. And you put 40 this year, and I think we had 25 or 30 last year.
Awesome. So let me ask you this. Who do you want as speakers for next year? And the important side of it here is that I think on the speaker side of it, unless I've misunderstood, we're looking for a lot of diversity and maybe not being so focused on years in business or, but there's a lot of different people that can bring a lot of different aspects and perspectives that people might want to listen to. So what are your thoughts and goals on who should be applying to speak?
I think anybody that has something to teach another business owner, definitely apply to speak. Again, thehugeconvention.com, there's a button on there, apply to speak. We're taking applications. We want people that can speak in front of people. Like, trust me, getting up in front of 300 people, you just can't just accidentally do that. So they've got to be prepared. They have to, I would say, start right now speaking at some of the smaller shows. Ask the guys at PWNA and things like that. Say, hey, can I give a class on how I did my EDDMs or how I did this thing, and then start teaching it there. And then we would love to have them at the Huge to teach. We don't want, now a lot of our vendors do teach because they are the subject matter experts on this thing. And we had a discussion last Monday, I think even Sid jumped in there with me, where, there were a couple people that apparently sold from stage. That's a no-no. and they are not. And once I get the videos back from the editor, we were very clear with all of our speakers. That is an absolute no-go.
Mm-hmm.
You teach a subject, and at the end, if you go, okay, that's how you do it, but if you want my help, come see me in booth 2512 and we can talk, or here's a QR code for $50 off my service. That's fine. But you're not going to spend an hour pitching these people on your product. That's an absolute no-go. We don't stand for that.
So as an example to throw something out here, like myself, I have what I think is a really good bonus program for employees. But like if you have a program that you've created for doing whatever this is how I do this is how I manage that, this is whatever it is, maybe, and you can break that down into a 45-minute, hey, this is what we're doing. Hey, bring that out. Go ahead and apply to speak. Put that in there, your synopsis, whatever it is that you need to do to be able to, because they're not just going to pick everybody, right? They're going to go through and they're going to make decisions based on that. But give them the idea of what it is that you want to do. And Jason threw one out here, says, want me to talk about implementing like your life depends on it, ? Absolutely. I think that would be great, because I don't think a lot of people implement a lot of the things that are talked about at the huge convention. They go, they listen, they should just buy the video package because they need to remember. But then that way you have to implement the things that you learn.
And there is a question here, the video package, and somebody asked, how do we get access to the videos?
Yep. Thehugeconvention.com. If you go there, there is a link in the menu. I'm actually going there right now, so I know exactly where it's at, but it literally is the first thing on there. It says 2022 video package. You click on that, takes you to a cart or a landing page. You pay for it. You get immediate access to last year's videos. You get a login, so they automatically send you a username and password once you sign up. You get immediate access to that, and then once the videos start getting uploaded, you'll get an email from me that says, "Hey, the videos are now uploaded. Now you have access to the 2022 videos."
Awesome.
Our friend Jacob said that the 2019 keynote was the best of all time. You should bring him back next year, according to him. But Jacob, I was just the crowd warmer for Brandon Vaughn. So
That's it.
He was probably referencing the MC or something.
Remember, you actually read the immigrant son of yak herder bio that I gave you as a joke. And I was not expecting that. So that was amazing.
And then Dustin doesn't know how to spell. That's spelled R-A-Y. That R-A-Y guy will put you to sleep. The pressure washing industry, what do you expect? I mean, Dustin, I'll send you something to get you to learn how to spell correctly. That's it.
Yep.
So now let's also talk about other things, the other offerings that the Huge has throughout the years. Hold on. Yeah. I want to go back. Actually, I want to stop because I just saw this. You have nothing to sell, just for guys getting started and trying to get lead flow. I think that's actually an absolute. That's perfect, because sometimes when we sit here and we talk about companies doing $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, it can actually be even more intimidating to somebody like me whenever I was just starting out, and I'm literally trying to break that first 6 figures. And I'm like, $1 million, that's not even in my wheelhouse at this point right now. I just want to eat. I want to put ground chuck on the table, and hopefully we can get up to ground round and something a little more fat free. 100%. And I think, I don't mean to speak for you guys, but I believe the Huge has a place for everybody in there, because we've got guys that have come to this convention that are brand new, that are just starting a business. Yeah. We've got guys who are in their first year. We've got guys who've been in it for 20 years out there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely.
When we survey the room from the stage, we try to, it's kind of getting the demographic, like who's there, how long you've been in business and all that. And when we had 1,200-1,400 people in the room, I said, how many of it's your first year? 20% of the room raised their hand.
Right.
So you got 200-300, or more people. It's their first year. When I first started with a rusty squeegee in an old bucket, literally my goal was to make $25 a day because that's all I needed to eat and pay rent. And that was it. I was like, if I can do that, then I don't have to get a job.
Well, those were back in the days.
What? And no, now I'm at, if I can make $70 a day.
But your first pressure washer was actually a Mastodon, wasn't it, Sid?
Oh,
and you sucked the water up through the trunk, and then you squeezed the buoys real hard, and it shot it out.
And then upgrade to a hand crank pump. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm getting tired of all these age jokes, Ray. You're picking on the elderly here.
Okay.
You're supposed to
You're
respect
2 years
your
older
elders,
than me,
boy.
old man.
Yeah. So you did ask, what's some other stuff that we do throughout the year. And we have actually a really cool thing that's coming up. And it's about leadership. And leadership is one of those things that everybody wants. Nobody wants to do the work to kind of do it. It's a mystery because we're not taught leadership really anywhere. There's no like formal leadership course in school. And then you kind of, if you're like me, you learn by just doing it wrong a whole bunch and going, that didn't work.
Yeah.
And so Tim Kroll, who is just a super nice guy, taught at the convention, but he's doing a leadership course for us about the building blocks of leadership. So these are going to be some basics, and he takes you through kind of a 2-day program, and it's live. It can't be virtual because it's really interactive. He literally has you playing with Legos and teaching you how to be a leader. And so we're doing that, and it's at hugeleadership.com. And it's going to be in Nashville again. The reason we do everything in Nashville is because it's just super easy to get there. I don't live there. So every time we do something, I got to either drive or fly to Nashville, but it's super easy to get there. It's under $1,000, and you're going to walk away knowing the building blocks on how to be a good leader, because whether you like it or not, you're a leader. Whether you have no employees or you have 100 employees, you have to know leadership. And leadership is so hard to learn. It's so easy to screw up. A lot of people think they're a good leader, but I will tell you, if you think you're a good leader and you turn around and nobody's following you, you're not a leader.
You're not a leader. Yeah. You're
And
you're a little too much of a trailblazer. And I was also thinking too, the one that you had are y'all going to do the Rockstar admin?
Absolutely. Doing that.
I heard a lot of good stuff about that.
That was so much fun. And there was literally a lady there that was sent. She was an admin and is now the general manager from the company after coming back from that event. Those ladies pour into these admins, and it's not even women. There were several guys there as well, and they teach you the administrative stuff. But besides that, they give you Trello boards. They give you all the stuff. It's kind of halfway built, and then you just customize it for your company. It is fantastic. I will get the actual address for that, and it phenomenal.
I know Tanya was a part of that last year, and she really enjoyed it, and she enjoyed the relationships she made, and was really impressed with the people that came as well, because you had people that were brand new, that were just stepped into these positions, and actually felt like one of the things about a true teacher, true servant mentality is when you feel like you're really helping people. And that was one of her takeaways from there. She really felt like, there was a lot of help and assistance given, there.
Yeah.
The other thing I think about a lot of these events that are popping up like these, okay, and the huge, if you look back, and this is no slight on the free events at all, but there is a big difference. It seems like, and we've talked about this in the past, where some of these events that you go to might cost you a good bit of money to go to, not just in the lodging and not just in the meals and all that. I mean, the actual event that you're going to, because I think the Rockstar admin, how much was that?
I think it was $1,500.
Okay. So you got like $1,500, and then you got your room, and then so my whole point in that is that the people that are there are on their A thinking game, right? They're on their A listening game. They're not, if you go to an event like that, you're not going to be hanging around people that are going to be just compulsive complainers. I'm going to say they're there to learn and to realize the dream that they're trying to build and trying to find ways to help make that dream come true. I just feel like on some of the stuff where it's being paid for, the attendee is not a better class of person, but a better class of listener and a better class of person that wants to be a better business owner.
That's so valid. There's an old saying that you pay attention to what you pay for.
True.
And I mean, literally, if I give you $1 million worth of value and content and I charge you $100, you may or may not ever pay attention. And like, you might even watch it. But if I said this costs you 10 grand up front in cash, no refunds, you'll study every word.
Absolutely.
And you'll get a better result. You'll get the full value, more value out of it than you would if you got it for free or for a cost. It's not an excuse to charge people, but it's just, like you said, the other people that are participating, they're there to play. They're
100%.
They're not sideliners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I recently, back in, I think it was April, I went to a mastermind, and I talked about this from Stage at the Huge, and it's where I found Michael Burnoff. And that one event cost me thousands of dollars. And it honestly, it wasn't a money grab by the people. Like, anytime you have an event like that, you have to pay the right people to come and speak. And it's like the Rockstar Admin. We had to pay the speakers, to be there. But you're not paying for who's in the room. You're paying for who's not in the room.
Exactly.
And you don't have shenanigans in the room. You don't have idiots that are distracting or that are habitual complainers, because they're not going to pay to be there, because that they're not going to be able to complain.
Correct.
They don't see the value of it, and some of them will do perfectly fine. Some of them will do better than you do, kind of a thing. But I think the vast majority of the compulsive complainers, and they tend to not do as well. I think that's just something that if you focus on more of the positive things, and it goes kind of back to the old saying of you're the sum of the 5 people you hang around with the most, right? So if you're hanging around with a whole bunch of people that all they do is, bitch and moan, that's who you become. And that's a negative place, which puts you in kind of more of a negative atmosphere and negative thought processes. And so you need to get yourself into positive thought processes and be around people that are going to think more along the positive line and treat people in a better light. And that's how you learn these different things and how you maneuver around in life in a positive fashion.
If you want to see who you are, look at your tribe. Look at the 5 people you spend the most time with, because they really do become a reflection on you.
Ray, what if you're a cannibal?
Well, then your 5 is always going to be rotating in and out each time. So,
yeah.
So if you only have 5 and you're a cannibal, and never mind.
All right. Hey,
so go back to this one. I had a lot of guys talk to me that were really struggling. It was gut wrenching thinking back to when I was in their shoes. 100%. And this is where you got, back before the year that you guys purchased this and the year that COVID disrupted everything. One of the things that Thad asked us to do, we were working on a class, the pre-show class, and it was going to be a full day class called The Foundation.
Yeah.
8 hours lunch provided, where it was going to be us discussing what do you have to think about opening a business. And we were, we're laughing. I was like, well, the class is going to be what, $1,800. What's it actually worth? Tens of thousands? Because we're talking about, do you need workers' comp? What insurance should you get? Should you get, what is commercial vehicle insurance? And we were actually going to have an insurance guy come in as well, and an attorney come in. What should your disclaimer be? What should your, and it was going to be a business in a box kind of day of all the things that you need to think about starting a business.
I'm actually very disappointed in that not actually coming to fruition. And
Yeah,
again,
never being able to do
COVID
that.
killed that. That was going to be a superstar of a class. And again, our intention for that class, and giving Thad a lot of credit for helping think of these classes that needed to come to fruition and all that. And then us taking that to having, where we're literally bringing in experts. So you're not hearing it from Sid. You're not hearing it from Ray. You're not hearing it from Doug or Jonathan. You're hearing it from a source that actually knows the legal side of it, right? So if you're talking about contracts, it's an attorney talking to you about contracts. It's an insurance, not just an agent, because agents tend to get things wrong sometimes, but somebody that is like an underwriter that would come in and talk about the insurance and insurance processes. And we should look at reviving that at some point. I think
I'd love to do it, because I mean, it's a whole, not how to wash, what is bleach, what is a downstreamer, but this is what you need to seriously think about. One of the things that I know that bothers us a great deal is people talk about their disclosures and disclaimers. Well, guys, truth is, it's very hard to disclaim away liability. I mean, you can write whatever you want to on something that your customer signs, but if you're acting badly, that's not going to hold water.
It's not going to matter
for sure. Hey, gentlemen, I apologize. I'm gonna have to dip out. I think I have a bear in my backyard.
Nice.
Literally.
Welcome to Montana.
If you literally have a bear, you have to go outside with your phone,
with your camera,
jump back in on this live, but show us the bear.
We want to see you riding the bear, Sid.
I will. We got this teenage black bear that's been terrorizing the neighborhood. My dogs are going ape shit right now. So
all right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you guys for hosting and having us on.
We'll keep really. We didn't even want you. We really wanted Jonathan tonight. You were just kind of a package deal. So.
This is my best friend Wayne.
You're kind of the ugly friend that tags along.
I know it gives everybody a goal, though.
Yeah.
Tell them about the banjo competition. Okay, Jonathan.
Yep.
The banjo competition. All
right. I'll see you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Sid. I appreciate you.
That's funny. That goes down as one of the all-time excuses for jumping off a podcast.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got to go there. There's a bear.
Because I got a bear.
Awesome. So in the chat, I had thrown the address for the admin boot camp
got it.
link for anybody that wants to look at that. That's such a cool little thing to jump into. And again, I think it's the paid training that is just what helps you level up. I have spent a lot of money just on stuff that has been a waste of money, and then I look at the stuff that that has been put out by spray wash. Even the stuff that you're putting out, you could put it out there for free. That would be pointless, because then people aren't going to pay attention to it. But for what you charge for your pro membership, it gives you a 10x return, because you just learn the things you need to learn. It's a no-brainer to do it. When you look at it, it's like, well, of course I got to do that.
I did a video today, Jonathan, that and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I did a video in Pro today that was talking about one thing that people could do. And it was about going on and looking at the restaurant inspection reports. And I know that if I did a video and I went to Pressure Washing 101 and a bunch of these groups that are out here with 20,000 people, I would have 20 jackasses going, "Oh, what are you even talking about?" And then I'd have another 17 people commenting, offering me a free logo and "Oh, boost your business profile by using our SEO." And most of the and there would be people that would say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." But at the same time, what I put in Pro is proven track record, things that we have done before, where we go and look at old restaurant report, not old, brand new restaurant inspection reports where they got tagged from an inspector that said, okay, you're getting a violation and a fine. Well, you know what? I guarantee you the person that manages, owns that restaurant wants that restaurant looking tip-top, perfect condition for the reinspection. That is literally just sitting there saying, take me, please wash me. All you have to do is go up to that inspector or to that manager and say, we have a hot water pressure washer. We can make your dumpster look amazing. Your front sidewalks look amazing when this inspector comes back next week.
But you don't go in saying, hey, we saw in the report.
Yeah.
No. That you look like crap.
Yeah.
Not a good way to take it down that path at all.
Yeah. But that's the thing. You teach how to do that.
Right.
Exactly. That's all part of it. I want to catch on this one before we shut it out. Jonathan, we'll stay on here as long as you want to. It's just I always want to respect your time, that kind of a thing. Dave says it would be pretty cool to break down the classes by the stage of business that you are in. Conquer breaks down the 5 stages, and I feel like color coding the classes correlating to what stage of business they are in will fit well with a lot of the ones saying this is higher than what I need to, and or this doesn't fit me. They kind of did that a little bit this year. And so I think that'll be, will follow through to next year. And what I mean by that is they had different tracks. Like one of the tracks that I taught in was the employee track. And so if you were looking for that side of it, but yeah, you could have something like that where it's, 1 to 3 years in business, maybe this area, or 3 to 5 years, and, something to that nature. So, because if you've been in business for 7 years plus, you pretty much should have certain things figured out by then. And so now you need more higher end management and things of that nature to fall into place.
Yeah. And that's really why we did the tracks, to break it out and say, okay, this is personal leadership and development. This is business growth and strategy. This is, marketing and the sales and marketing. We did break it out like that. And I think if we could hone it in a little bit further. I absolutely agree. And in the app this year, what we're actually going to give a synopsis of the class. So you can look at it and go, oh, that's way over my head, or this is exactly what I need, or that's way too elementary. So you can kind of self-regulate, because sales and marketing is sales and marketing most of the time. And same thing with like growth business. We're going to actually do the same tracks again this year, and we're getting more people. And that's why I need your audience to really step up and go, hey, I want to teach a class on how to be a really good service manager, or, that employee track of teaching that. And then also the, business growth and strategy is, hey, let's get this figured out. So,
one of the things that I would say too, and he used to work at the older huge convention. They were always pretty well, attended on there. A little bit on the technical side, not so much the sales and marketing or the tracks. And I know we're more business here, but a couple of times we've just done roundtables on there of, cold calling roundtable, or we've even done technical like metal roof cleaning roundtables and things, and where we'd have 5 or 6 experts up there and say, okay, let's ask questions, about this, and very, a specific type class with 5 guys, that are tops in their field doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's really critical, and we can do that and have a soft washing just roundtable, and it's guys like you that just know the answers and fill that room with how many ever people can jam in there and just go, hey, I've got a technical question. And we try to also leave that to the trade show floor as well for the vendors. But then again, you know how the trade show is. You have 30 guys around you, and it's hard to get a question in. But if there was a very structured Q&A session, stuff like that.
And that almost, I think, what it has to be, and I'm just totally brainstorming here, but where it has to be a good moderator going, okay, your question, go, yes, and then cut it off, because you don't want somebody like me that tends to drone on for half an hour per question and only 3 things get answered in that.
Interestingly enough, maybe that would be something where there is a booth at the entrance. I think the booth might get overwhelmed though, but a booth at the entrance where somebody can say, I'd really like to learn about, P40, about booster pumps. Okay. And so then you say, well, booth number, 10, 17, and 200 all, are sell and install booster pumps. So, those would be 3 great places to go. One of the things that I noticed, which always, for every single event that I've ever been to in my life, inside this industry, outside this industry, doesn't matter. It blows me away that there are vendors that will spend so much money to be in a booth like that and then sit and cower in the corner and just watch people walk by. And I'm like, it drives me freaking nuts.
Funny story about that. And I hope we have some vendors. I was just literally before we jumped on, Josh Latimer called me and I was like, I got to answer and see what he's up to. He's doing a thing right now and it's winwithtradeshows.com. He's literally giving away free information to any vendor. So if they just go to winwithtradeshows.com, or if you are a business owner that does like home and garden shows, it's just how to do it.
Yeah.
It's literally how to be the unicorn, stuff like that, and be different and win at trade shows. Super great program. He sent me the link and I watched a few of his videos. I was like, dude, this is what everybody needs, because it teaches you this is what you need to do to be successful at a trade show. Because I had a couple of vendors that were like, we didn't do as well as we thought we would. And I was like, I walked by your booth and you were cowering in the corner.
My favorite trade show story is the Have a Mint. And we've actually taught on this like several times of don't be afraid to tell your customers to have a mint. And if you've ever been to a great trade show booth, there is typically a basket of a bowl of candies there. And you can tell whenever the salesperson is tired of talking to you or realize that you're not a real buyer, you're not the correct customer for them, because they're like, that's really great. By the way, have a mint. And they hand you the basket, and it's like, and you get the mint or, the Andes chocolate, and you're like, oh my God, you've got Andes, amazing. And they start eating. And so what happens now is if they've got their mouth full and their hands are busy, and as a salesperson, you're able to go next, because you're not, and that's a problem that I know I have this problem. And Tanya tells me this all the time, don't understand who your customer is and who's not your customer, and who's just trying to they want to hear them self-talk, or they want to tell you how smart they are, or there's lots of things, or they're not right for your product. But no, as a salesperson in that booth, you've got 8 hours or 6 hours to contact the right people and talk to them, and you can't close somebody that's not your customer out there.
Yep, absolutely.
It is funny when you look at that, where I think today's day and age, some of the salespeople behind the counter that have the candy don't even realize that that's what it's for.
That's
nowadays.
What the candy's there for.
And and they're actually the ones half the time sitting there eating the candy. Like, dude, one of the things I noticed and getting completely off subject here, I think, but I noticed this at the World of Concrete when we went to the World of Concrete. And that was, you had a lot of, huge money where they're spending big money to be there, right? And they would have all these people in play, but all of those people are either sitting around or don't know their products. And I think that's something you don't find at something like the Huge and the smaller events. When I say smaller events, because the Huge convention is super, super small compared to something like the World of Concrete.
Yeah, right? that is acres and acres of trade.
Three buildings. Whenever Doug and I went, a couple of years ago, three buildings of trade show.
Three
Vegas buildings.
We're talking Vegas city blocks. It was. Okay. So now that he's on here, I'm gonna pick on him again. So you sent me that picture, you punk. You sent me that picture. I thought for sure I had it figured out who it was. And God, dude, you got to send me a different picture, something I can maybe latch on to a little bit better. Most of you don't maybe know what I'm talking about, but I'm talking to pressure washing punks right now because he's a punk.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
Nick
Nick just said he went in there and signed up at winwithtradeshows.com.
Yeah, it is free right now. So he's giving it away for free. You know how Josh is just big about he recorded a bunch of videos and he's like, I'm just going to make this free so that trade shows are better.
Right.
And he goes through to a bunch of trade shows. And I told him, I was like, we do home and garden shows. So we'll go up, we'll set up a tent and, we'll have, our sales team out there, and we do really well with these home and garden events. And I'm actually going to send this link to our marketing manager that handles this for us so that we can get even better. We do a good job, but this is going to make it better.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you're thinking about any trade shows, and I haven't seen this yet, winwithtradeshows.com, I think that it's probably going to be good. Latimer's
let's think about this too, Jonathan. I mean, it's, you say it's going to make us better. Whenever you get into businesses like you have, like Doug had, like I had, you start really making your, okay, I've got my business. I'm making money. I'm doing well. I've got technicians. Now it's time to refine. And now suddenly we start really making profit at the margins of our business around if I'm grossing $250,000 a year, if that's if I'm netting 250,000 off of $1 million, now all of a sudden, if I can get 10% better,
even 5% better.
Wow, 5% better, 2.5% better, it adds up to substantial money. And it's not about reinventing every system that we have, because that's a massive pain point. I mean, whenever I sit there and go, I will never forget what a fit I had whenever we implemented House Call Pro, because it was like, oh my God, I mean, we're redoing what we had. And it wound up being the best thing in the world. But a massive change comes implementing a whole new system. Now, once we had House Call Pro, it was good. Then suddenly, whenever we started really honing in our descriptions and our autofills on House Call Pro, and I had, automatically a metal roof on there, and then I had automatically a shingle roof, and I had automatically an older shingle roof with some granule loss description in there. Well, now all of a sudden, I'm changing my time around of where I don't have to go and change these descriptions, and it becomes boom, 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 automatic on it.
Yep, and it's those little fine tweaks that you can do in your business that makes a big difference. I recently had a guy come in, and all of our phone calls for our call center are recorded, and he said, "What if I could change your close rate by a percentage?"
Yeah.
And 1%. And you think, that's 1%. And he looked at all our numbers and he's like, I'll do, it's 20 grand for me to go in here and do this and teach your people how to use this, and this. And it was immediately it's an additional like 5, 6, 7 grand a month to our bottom line by tweaking one little thing.
Right. Is that worth 20 grand?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you got a little pain to start with, but boy, look at the potential payoff on that. I mean, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So I just signed up there, just so you all know.
Oh, awesome.
A House Call Pro class. I mean, that would be an amazing class on there, maximizing House Call Pro. And oh boy, because how much
that's something where, House Call Pro. I mean, so I know that, the breakout sessions are supposed to be not about sales and selling something. I could see where there is maybe a section where House Call Pro and Customer Factor and some of the others could come in, not at the same time, but like one room where, and this is just a thought that's hitting me. So House Call Pro gets to go first, and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one, where people can sit in and learn about the different types of systems and what's there, what's not. Maybe even you know, a little session where people can go back and forth, because there's a lot of pain points with some of these systems. I had gone with Customer Factor, and my problem with Customer Factor was simply that it was so robust. And this is part of my problem, right? I needed to have somebody else taking care of that because I hate doing those kinds of things. And so I made it more of a mess than it probably needed to be, and I ended up getting rid of it.
Well, and let me interrupt, Doug, also, and I apologize, but I mean, think about that. You're not really selling for the stage whenever the class is called maximizing House Call Pro, you know,
right. Yeah,
maximizing Customer Factor, maximizing Markate. You know, okay, you're actually, honestly, we're not trying to sell you this. If
you already have
House Call Pro, right, you shouldn't be taking this class, because we're talking about tips, tricks, tweaks, and things for House Call Pro. And maybe if you wanted to have that further separation, I mean, I don't think you need separation, but if you wanted to have it, you could have users like, you know, for example, let me and actually Tanya, but Tanya and then two other companies that have taught that have used House Call Pro, and say, this is how we used House Call Pro. This is what we found to be amazing about it. Doug, you could do Customer Factor, and two other people, you know, doing that on there. I mean, just as an idea, literally spitballing here.
That was something that was on our list for this year, could not get it executed. And it was actually, we called it a hacking room to bust off of Responsibid. And we were going to have like an hour and a half for each of these software programs. And it was a room of 50 just seats at round tables. And they would supply the people, supply some laptops. You would bring in your laptop and you'd like, help me unscrew this.
Right.
From that company.
Nice.
And that is on our vision board for 23 to have that room.
I'm really happy to see that there's a lot of forward thinking, is really the way I'm going to say it, that it is about the growth of the huge convention. And when I say the huge convention, I'm not talking about the dollars coming into the huge convention. I'm talking about the growth of the industry through the huge convention, and what is being put out by the huge convention, and how we're going to make it better for everybody to learn, no matter if you are that very first year in play, or if you are, 10 years into business, how you can, what it is for you and how to make that grow for you. So, look, we've been at it for it's about an hour and 20 minutes now coming up on, and I'll just ask you, Jonathan, what are your parting thoughts, or what things that you maybe want to get out that maybe we haven't touched on or talked about, or let you have that final get-go there?
No, I really think we hit the nail on the head, and that's the huge convention is really about education and taking your business from where it's at to where you want it to be. And that's the key word, is where you want it to be. Not if you don't want to be to, $2.5 million because you think, man, that's a headache. It's funny. I invited one of my competitors that is in our area, and he runs kind of like owner operator, kind of, just soft wash guy, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. I was like, dude, you got to come to the huge convention. And I was like, I'll get your ticket. I don't care. I just want you there to learn, to get to have your company where you want it to be. He's like, I don't want employees, or I just want a helper. And I was like, that's fine, man. If that's absolutely fine. I'll tell you the pros and cons of both, but that's where we want to be with the huge convention, is to really just elevate the entire industry so that everybody has the education they need. And they have the tools that they need to get what they want. And I think the first thing you need to do is figure out why you're doing what you do. Mm-hmm. And then you can build your business around that, reverse engineer it.
And where you want to go from there.
I think you will actually start seeing more and more guys probably compacting a little bit on their businesses, because that was part of the reason that we sold, was the stress level that Tanya and I were at with managing these 4 trucks, and just exhausting. And to whenever you can go and make as much with less stress with 2 trucks out there, Why wouldn't you do that? I mean, it's not a race to, I mean, I can tell you plenty of $1 million companies that don't necessarily have the best. Yeah, they're broke. Well, you said it better than I mean, they're broke. They don't have they don't do it, you know.
Sales is a vanity number. Sales is an absolute vanity
purely because it's not what you make, it's what you keep. And quite frankly, you can keep more, you know, being lean and efficient, you know.
If you ever watch Shark Tank, sometimes they'll talk about sales on there and they'll say, yeah, well, I mean, you know, we had, you know, 7 million in sales. Okay, well, were you profitable? No, we lost about 2 million this year. And you're like, it just blows me away. Well, no, we anticipate losing money over the next 5 years. We anticipate losing, you know, 3 to 7 million a year over it blows me away at that sometimes, where it doesn't make sense, but it's the long goal and the long range thing. Different side of the scope here, but nonetheless, still the point.
But you know, how many small businesses can go and take that multiple loss year after year after year for a supposed bump there in the end, you know?
No, not a software company. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. You know, we have COGS and we've got, you know, and that's another thing I like about the live events that you can go to, is you learn so much about just numbers. And it's the people that you meet that are just, you know, they'll just teach you things that you just didn't know you need to know.
Right. It's true.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time, guys.
Well, Jonathan, thank you for coming on. We sure appreciate it, and appreciate your time. And everybody that watched, thank you for your time. You know, we're always very appreciative, and gosh, thank y'all. So
we're also gonna invite Jonathan back here in a couple weeks to talk about other things other than just the huge convention, other business things. And so just keep an eye out. He'll be back and we'll talk about some other stuff. But
yeah, absolutely.
Truly appreciate you, Mr. Jonathan, and appreciate what you're doing with the huge convention, you and Sid and the others that are there. It's not just the two of you. You're just the two pretty faces out there with it right now. So appreciate it very much.
God, could you imagine the other faces behind this thing? If Jonathan's a pretty one, it's
they're hideous. They're goblins. They warn you before they come around the corner.
Woo!
It's the stuff nightmares are made out of, isn't it?
Scary stuff. Well, guys, thank y'all. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next Monday.
Appreciate y'all.